How does a superpower lose a war against insurgents? In 1979, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, expecting a quick victory. Instead, it became trapped in a brutal conflict that lasted nearly 10 years. The war cost thousands of Soviet lives, displaced millions of Afghans, drained resources, and damaged Soviet prestige around the world. For the Soviet Union, Afghanistan became a war from which it never truly recovered. In December 1979, Soviet special forces entered Afghanistan and removed Afghan leader Hafizullah Amin. Moscow quickly installed a government favorable to Soviet interests and expected military intervention to stabilize the country. Instead, Soviet leaders found themselves pulled into a difficult civil war. Although Soviet forces controlled major cities, much of the countryside remained outside government control. What was supposed to be a short intervention rapidly became a grinding war fought across some of the most difficult terrain on Earth. The resistance became known as the Mujahideen. They were highly motivated, familiar with the terrain, and increasingly supported by foreign powers. The United States viewed the invasion as a major Cold War challenge and soon began supplying funding, intelligence, and weapons to the resistance. Pakistan became their primary supply route and training center for anti-Soviet fighters. One of the most important weapons provided to the resistance was the Stinger missile. These portable anti-aircraft missiles threatened Soviet helicopters and aircraft, reducing one of Moscow's greatest military advantages. What began as an Afghan civil war increasingly became a Cold War proxy conflict. The Soviet military attempted to crush resistance through aggressive military operations. Yet these efforts often strengthened opposition rather than eliminating it. Millions of civilians fled their homes. More than 5 million Afghans were displaced during the conflict. Soviet forces suffered over 13,000 dead and nearly 50,000 wounded. The Mujahideen suffered tens of thousands of casualties, while civilian deaths may have reached into the millions. By the late 1980s, Soviet leaders increasingly viewed the war as unwinnable. In 1989, Soviet forces withdrew from Afghanistan. The war had consumed resources, weakened public confidence, damaged Soviet prestige, and exposed weaknesses within the Soviet system. Afghanistan did not single-handedly destroy the Soviet Union, but it helped accelerate the decline of a superpower already facing enormous challenges. Just 2 years later, the Soviet Union collapsed. History matters because people matter.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. It really helps the channel grow and helps more people discover military history. Be sure to subscribe to HMS History with Michael Stroud for more stories from the battlefield, campaigns, and hidden corners of military history. And remember, history matters because people matter. I'll see you next time.
The